Hi, and welcome back to the Still Rolling Jiu Jitsu podcast. I'm Matthew Montgomery. Sitting with me today is Oscar Singer. If you were here last week, we went through a whole history of running track at a world record kind of pace. We talked about playing in the NFL. We talked about a life in SWAT growing up as a kid in Columbus. And we're back for part two. We're going to get a little more into jiu-jitsu, but I did want to kind of ask you a couple of things about how you made a transition from, you were in college, or you went through college, you became a police officer. Were you still running post college and NFL?
Yeah, and here's the interesting take, because I was just having this conversation the other day I wish I found my old recruit graduation ceremony flyer, right? I found it after
Okay.
40 something years. But when I first went through the academy, me and a buddy of mine I grew up playing Little League football with, Ken Kelly. His name was Ken, last name Kelly. Uh, After the academy, we're in the police academy, going through the academy, learning the laws and city and federal and state laws. And I'm thinking, okay, after the academy, we would go to campus to the street scene across from the Higher Union and drink,
Yeah. The whole
right?
high street.
So, yeah, and I'm thinking, where's the stress? We're in the police academy. You're not official anything yet. So a couple times doing that, I'm kind of thinking to myself, man, 25 years, how would I sustain myself for 25 years doing this? And I said, Kelly, I said, we we can't continue to do this, man.
Yeah.
So soon after that, let me see, that was a 81 Olympics in 80, May 10th, 1981 was my appointment date. And 80, we missed the Olympics because of Iran and Russia was in at tits with each other. And the
Okay.
irony is, we were friendly with Iran back then with the Shah and
Yeah.
position, and they shot down an Iranian airplane. Man, that kind of blew everything out the water for me. But if I had better, I'm not going to say the guys that coached me, they were wonderful men, wonderful human beings, and I'm still friends with one of my guys today, still to today. We text each other every morning and a couple times a day, still to today. He's like my big brother that I never had. But 76, and I think I went over this in the first segment. We ran against a kid out in Cerritos, California, when we was 15. I had turned 15 out there. Beat this kid
Right.
in 100 yards. It wasn't meters then. Beat him in a 200. Well, 220, that's what it was called then. And in the classic 4x1, the anchor guys, the two fastest guys on the track that day, got the baton at the same time, and I beat them. And all those times that we ran that day were national records, age group national records.
Yeah.
I remember, and this may be in part one, but just going back to bring everything up to date. I remember an old guy that was working a long jump pit, jumped like 23.5, with 15 years old, which, man, okay, that was good. I thought, okay, that was decent. I think I could jump higher. But I remember this guy. I never forget this older guy saying, yeah, man, you guys are going to be in the Olympics. 76. I'm still in high school. Right. So I'm thinking, I got to go to college first before I can go to the Olympics. That was my mentality. Dwayne's mentality was different, because the people that he had around him prepared him for the 76 Olympics. After graduating high school, he left high school, went to the Montreal Games in 1976 and got a bronze medal. And that
Yeah.
medal should have been mine, because that's the guy that I beat in California.
Yeah.
Fast forwarding, they canceled obviously the 80s. So 84, they had the LA Games, where it was just America friendly countries, not any of the Soviet bloc countries. Russia wasn't there. I don't think, when the East and West Germany
Right.
were still in conflict with each other. And I'm watching these guys that I have beat numerous times, running in Los Angeles in the Olympics. I'm like, man, me and a buddy, me and
Right.
Jimmy, Me and Jimmy Clark sitting on the couch at when I had my place when I was living across the street from the continent up north.
Yeah.
And we said, man, we got to get back out there. Right. So after watching that, that was my initiation back into track and field. So
Okay.
uh started doing, running, prepare myself again, running with the higher track club under Wayne Armbruce. And actually I saw him this past Saturday at the Jesse Owens meet. He is another one of the coaches that were, I mean, just a brilliant guy, PhD in physics. Um, got that squared away, started running and competing. And nobody ever told us again, this is how far back we were. It's almost like the Stone Ages, that they told us not lifting weights will make you slow.
Right.
The irony to that thing, lifting weights actually made you faster.
Yeah. Look at DK Metcalf.
Oh man. And that's the guy that went to my old team that I had called my cousin. He's the coach at Florida State, which they just won the indoor nationals, which, Arkansas, Florida, um, Tennessee used to be up in there, but they're battling back and forth for the indoor title, outdoor title. And I called Mike and
Right.
said, "Hey, if I could get this TK Metcalf to come and train." I was I was probably in my 60s then. I think. I said I come out of retirement and train with them. You know,
Yeah.
and I called my old NFL roommate and I said, Vic, if you could grab him and see if he's serious about, preparing himself for a run, through the trials, because he could have made that team. That guy was just raw talent without training for track properly, understanding the fundamentals and the function of his body. He still competed, ran like a 10-3 or 10-2, 100 meters. I mean, just
Wow.
raw as he could be. But that didn't happen. But we go back to 84s. We start training, and I'm running good. I'm running as fast and actually a little faster uh, that I than what I did when I was in college, or at the same time, and just increasing the speed a little bit. Moving forward to the 88 games, so we missed 84, missed the 76, missed the 80, missed the 84. So I'm thinking, oh, there's still a chance. I think I was in my late 20s or maybe early 30s for the 88. And Reynolds was running. It came out of Akron, just running blazing times. Ohio State track coach Frank Zubovich, God rest his soul,
Yeah.
because he passed away too last year. And Butch didn't have anybody to train with. So August, track, 115, 120 degrees on the track. We out there running quarters. Sprinters don't like running quarters. I was a sprinter,
Okay.
10 seconds, 20
Yeah.
seconds. Hey, I'm going to try
Yeah.
and get it over quick. But
Right.
Butch and I started training to prepare him for the 88 trials. And, there could have been a possibility for me, to try to make a team for the 88s that I, man, missed 4 of them, which, man, you can't. I would encourage anybody today, if you have any kind of talent, any kind of speed, any type of possibility of making an Olympic team or a world team or a national team, go for it. And there's very few people on this face of this planet that can say that they were a professional sports player, basketball, baseball, track, hockey, soccer, and there's even less people that could say that they were Olympians.
Right.
So Butch and I started running quarters, 5 minute, 5 minute rest, 4 quarters. And actually, I think our style of running the quarters was the same because we were running the first 300 hard. And then, you try to break your opponent in that first 300 meters, basically.
Right.
And the last 100, you just use your strength and power to try to maintain your form and keep your speed through the last 100. I remember Coach Zub wanted us to run like 49s and 48 for the last one. The last quarter we ran, and we both were dog tired, our bodies hurting, everything hurting. We ran like a 47.7. And coach, I remember he was upset with us because you're running too fast. He run through. I'm like, we just want to get it over with. And of course, I'm trying to push Butch. Butch is trying to push me, but his potential was, at his age was far greater than mine for him to make a team than me. And he did make the team, and he did set break a 20-year-old record. I
Yeah.
think Lee Evans ran from the '68 Olympics, and Butch broke that, man, which was an incredible feat for him. Incredible feat for him. So I was real happy to be a part of that. And I don't know if you had a chance to see a documentary or not that he did with ESPN.
I
That
would
was
love
awesome.
to see it. I
Yeah,
when I was with OSU football, he was our speed coordinator. He worked on our weight training staff, but he was our speed coach at OSU. And it's a fun thing when you can be around world class kinds of people like that. He was always he had time for everybody.
yeah,
There's a lot of times you get into some of these environments where you have your star players and they tend to get a little more attention from certain parts of the staff. Um, but Butch didn't care who you were.
yeah.
You could be, like even in my case, I was a staffer. I wasn't even a player, and there were days where we'd go out and run, and he'd be trying to coach us up and stretching us, and
Hmm.
that was just who he was. He had time for everybody. He was a kind guy. I haven't
Yeah.
talked to him in 20 years, but really
Oh
good
wow.
dude.
Okay. Yeah, I actually he called me the other day. We supposed to be working on another project, and so I still have a lot of contacts with people pretty much around the world. But we're going to do some a project in Atlanta, and we talked about it. So I'm waiting. I missed him actually. They going back to Jesse Owens meet we just had this past Saturday. They had a meet and greet Friday over at the French Field House, and I couldn't make it because we did class 7 o'clock in the morning, and man, by the midday I'm wiped out. I couldn't get up to go back and get up the next day and go to the track. So I chose to rest Friday and go to the track, which I was hoping to see him there, but he didn't show up. It was just one other guy, Ernie, that ran, I think, 10 years before I did. He was an 800-meter guy. So I think we were the only two and my old coach, Wayne Armbruster, he was there. He drove down from Missouri, him and his wife. They drove down to watch the track. And Ohio State did something, man, incredible this past year, too, at the Penn Relays. I don't know if you're familiar with Penn Relays, is one of the premier relays on the East Coast. And then
Okay.
kind of the Midwest, they have the Drake Relays, which they're competing events during the same weekend. But Penn is known for just bringing in internationals, athletes, high school athletes from Jamaica and the Virgin Islands, and the cast that would come here from Florida and Arizona to run. But Ohio State, first time since I think 1932 or 1934, but the 1930s, won the 4x1 relay in like 39:52, and they came back and won the 4x4, the mile relay, in like 3:04, 3:03, in since the 1930s, and that's when Jesse Owens was running
Yeah.
on a cinder track
Okay.
with no blocks. You just dug a hole
Yeah.
into the sand. That was your blocks, and you start from there. But I was real happy to see those young guys, man. They don't know who I am. They just know here's a guy that did this, has been.
Yeah.
But you laid the groundwork for those guys to come in and fill the shoes of the guys that were there, prior to them. And they picked it up this year. And I'm thinking for that team, they should be able to win the Big Ten championship this year. So I'm predicting that now on your show, Matt.
Okay. And actually,
But
that should be coming up soon, shouldn't it?
yep,
I mean, I know that some of the spring sports now they're in their conference tournaments.
yep, should be coming
So
up here real soon.
yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna have to follow it, and we'll give an update.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that was the time. Butch and I was out there, man. I was because we went down to Indiana State to run, and I missed it because I went to Canada and missed it by like for the 88s, 3/100ths of a second. So if you run like a 10-2-3, you should be a 10-2 flat. You can't run 10-2-3. It's 10-2
Okay.
flat. So you've been like closer to 10-1-9 and 3/100ths, kind of pushed me out. And I'm like, man. But I was happy to be there to see Butch qualify, make it. Then actually was another buddy of mine that was my arch nemesis from Whitehall, Jeff Phillips. And this dude was a monster, man. Jeff was a monster back then because he came to Ohio State with us. I tried to recruit
Okay.
all the guys that were in the top 6, top 5 at the state meet here. And I had 2 or 3 of them that showed up, and Jeff came, didn't like, the coach, so he left and went to Tennessee, and where he set all kind of records, and he qualified for the '88 Olympics too. 10, he ran like a 10:08 in the 100 meters and the 20:07 in the 200. Man, and actually, I talked to Jeff last week. They said they would come out for the meet, but it was a little chilly for sprinters. So
Yeah.
in the 50s, and then the day before it rained, so that did not help either.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was that was fun, man. Watching them get to
For sure. I mean, I can remember those guys.
yeah,
I'm
you
not
you
even a
was you
track
was
guy, and
around.
I can remember watching Butch and Carl Lewis and
Oh
these guys in the 80s, early 90s. And I don't know. Obviously we're inundated with so many. We have 24-hour sports channels and everything, but back in those days, network television is kind of what you had, or at least
yeah,
that's what we had in my house, was like a fuzzy channel 4 and a fuzzy channel 7, but we could watch the Olympics because NBC was my channel 4. So,
yeah, yeah.
when the Olympics would come on, that was it. That was a captive audience, and we didn't
Oh
have
man,
100 other channels to watch. And so
yeah.
watching these Olympians, I don't know if the younger generation that's coming up really can even have the same appreciation for what a big deal the Olympics were and are, and as they should be.
Mhm.
The biggest athletic competition on the planet every 4 years.
Yeah.
Um,
And actually, you
so
mentioned Carl. There's a race where Carl and I were running in Indianapolis at the World Indoor Championships. And
I almost wonder. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, you wonder what? Oh,
I almost wonder. So, like, obviously, at Gracie, Ohio, you're Oscar. You're on the
yes,
mats with us, and we see you every
yeah,
day.
yeah. And
And I
y'all be trying
wonder.
to murder me because y'all be
We
trying to
do.
murder me.
We got to murder Oscar. Um, actually, you know what? Last
Yeah.
week when you rolled with Nate,
Oh yeah,
and if you're not in our gym, Nate is he's a blue belt. He's really good. He's one of those guys that just kind of picks things up right away. And even when he was like a 2-stripe white belt, I came to him one day and I said, "Man, you're gonna catch and just blow right by me. Like you are improving at a rate that is not normal." Um,
yeah.
but watching you and Nate go at it last week was a lot of fun because he wasn't taking it easy on the old
Well,
man, right? No, he was after you. Like
yes, he
he
was
you know
like I owed him $1 or so.
right, yeah. But you're holding your own, man. You still like and you're a black belt, but you know again, at your age, I think you might be an alien. Like you
Yeah.
do things that people your age can't do. They can't keep up that kind of a pace with a is Nate 40 yet? I
No,
don't
he's
think he
still in
is.
the
I think he's
30s.
still in his 30s, right? So we
Yeah.
got a 30-year-old dude, trying to wreck, a 1980s track athlete. And um,
I
in
mean,
a good way. I mean, Nate's
oh
full of
yeah,
class
yeah.
like that. Yeah, but But
Yeah,
yeah, it was fun to watch you guys because you still got it, man. You still like you were hanging with every last little bit of in an athletic kind of role, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
He made
that
me
was a
work.
treat.
He made me work,
Yeah,
and
yeah, it was
it's
fun.
yeah, yeah. And when his first competition, I like all the guys, I give him a strategy, simple strategy. I'm not going to say what it is, because that's
Okay.
for our group, but you know
Yeah,
what it
yeah,
is. And when
sure.
they employ that strategy, I'm telling you, uh, Bart, Nate, uh, uh, Mitch,
Yeah,
little Brian now. With little, he got
yeah,
screwed out the first match that he did because the guy reaped his leg as a white belt. But those
yep,
guys have always, and I'm gonna say they're going to get the gold, but I will say you will get a medal. And they
yeah,
have always been in. They have always medaled in every event that they've been in using it. And this strategy was told to me when I was I don't care remember if I had stripes on my white belt, but when I was a white belt by Salo Ribeiro, and you remember Salo, right?
yeah, yeah.
And
I
Salo
think
was
well,
here
I've got
teaching.
Janji Ribero's book on my shelf, so yeah, I
Oh,
know about
okay,
Ribeiro.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And it's kind of weird too, because Salo used to wrestle heavyweight, and John Z is bigger than Salo. So I'm like, man, just like when I met Mauricio Verdun, right? That dude, he's a monster. But
that
his
dude's a big
brother,
dude.
oh man, he's like, I, I looked, I said, I see why you was a UFC champion. They invited me to their
Yeah,
gym, and then I meet his brother. His brother's like 5'7".
yeah,
But yeah, that Salo told me that years ago. We was out getting ready for one of the world championships out in San Diego, and he had his place out there with Chris Blanky. So I can show you how to be a champion. He always would say that. I can show you how to be a champion. You do this, and that, and and like he said to me, I guarantee you, you can be a world champion. And I don't say that to these guys, but I said I could guarantee you a medal. And that those words have been pathetic right now because all of them have been in the medal race. And like you
yeah,
said, and even your levels, all of y'all levels are just elevating higher and higher and higher each time we step on the mat. And there's no easy days.
yeah.
No
No,
easy.
it's no. In fact, that 7 o'clock class, now we typically, I mean, half the time we don't even have a white belt on the mats. It's all blue and above, and it's
Yeah.
all guys that are competing. Not all, but a lot of competitors. It's a tough room. There's not a role where you're like, okay, there's my rest round. It's no, it's you're gonna have to put some work in
Yeah. 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 I love it, man. I love it. That's that discovery for me, in the area of martial arts, that was one of the best things I could have ever given myself, and especially with the line of work that I did.
for sure. I mean, and I've covered this on the podcast a little bit, as far as law enforcement officers and the value of jujitsu, as it relates to
Mm,
them going home at the end of a shift, as it relates to
yeah,
the people that they're dealing with going
yeah,
home at the end of the day, or, at least surviving their trip to jail. It's a lifesaver in a lot of ways, but it's also, it's, it's a, it's a way you can de-escalate, um, situations. Uh, you know, Folks that don't train sometimes don't understand. I had an argument with somebody one day where he said that we shouldn't be teaching police jujitsu because it's just going to make them more dangerous. Which uh, you know
oh
the
Lord.
the yeah. So and he was at a gathering where I wasn't going to just tell him to kick rocks. So
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
I engaged the conversation and then I tried to explain how that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in a
yeah.
nice way. But, I think that knowing jujitsu is going to make you more likely to be able to de-escalate situations and at a minimum avoid escalating to things that cause irreversible damage, um, you know, due to fear of an altercation.
Yeah.
You know, fear is
Fear of losing the fight.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because it's a deadly game. And
Yeah.
I've had a couple of officers over the years that have come in, you know, for their first few classes. Boy, I can remember one specifically. You know, he said he was an officer. He was way out of shape. Um,
Mm.
he came and trained, and you know, couldn't make it through a round in general. You
Yeah.
know, because he would tap just to be in out of shape. And you know, he was like, "Man, this is a lot more difficult." And I said, "Dude," I said, "You have to come back. Like, it should not be an option." Because if you get into an altercation and you gas out in 30 seconds, you know, what does that mean for you going home?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so, uh, you know, I've said it a bunch. I think it should be mandatory for police officers. And I know there's so many different, you know, hurdles that would have to be cleared for that to be a reality. But boy, I wish it could be so.
Yeah, I agree
Um,
with you 1000%. There's a police department in Georgia, and I can't remember where at in Georgia. And I can't remember what I did with the article, but the chief was a jiu-jitsu practitioner.
hmm
So he made it mandatory for everybody in his whole police department, you know, probably like a Bexley or Gahanna PD, uh,
hmm
mandatory that they all participate in jiu-jitsu. Now he has a whole department that's in shape, that have confidence, that can handle themselves, that will never lose a
Yeah,
fight, and use of force, zero,
right.
zero. Once you understand
A
how to
little bit
move
of
through the
double risk
world,
control.
yeah. Well, you know, oh, yap, yap, yap. The dog that barks the most is the dog that's going to bite the hardest.
hmm
I ain't worried about that guy. I'm worried about the guy that's watching you, inching closer, closer, and it's quiet, but watching you, waiting for you to make one slip up.
Well, you know, I saw some footage of the news of that shooting in Linden.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah, yeah,
you know, that
yeah,
dude, he was playing it cool when the cars started showing up, right? He was just
yeah,
walking, and he went
yeah,
from just walking, looking like he might be minding his own business to shooting a cop in
yeah.
no time.
No time.
So
That was less than three
yeah,
seconds, and
yeah,
that
yeah,
guy's
for sure.
whole life. Yeah, that go whole. You know, luckily he wasn't a better. He did hit him, but
Well, he had him dead to rights. I mean,
yeah, yeah.
where he got out, yeah, that was. And
Because
thankfully,
we talked about that what last Friday,
hmm
and certain things that you could have done to kind of mitigate. But the way I think, based on you know the job I did for 26 years, uh, we'd have probably done it a little differently. But I'm glad that he's
sure,
okay, not okay, but it's no fun, you know, being shot.
right,
Um, but I'm glad that he handled his business like a true professional, like
yeah,
a true professional. You know, even though he got shot, he still focused in, took care of the threat, shut that threat down, and luckily his
uh,
partners that were there with immediate first aid response for him. Uh,
yeah,
I, you know, ugh, people always ask me, "Do you like watching those cop videos?" My mom and my brother, they watch them. Friends of mine and my sister don't watch it. To be honest with you, I hate watching those. I don't want to
yeah,
see that. I mean, those were my realities every day that I went to work. I don't want to sit there and watch it. You know,
yeah,
my whole brain thing now is something completely different. And I think I mentioned this the last time too. My whole philosophy, which it always has been, but I realized it even more now. But I like to meet a new person every day, learn something new from somebody, and doing a kind deed for a complete and total stranger. If I get all three of those done in a day, I'm happy. I've met my, I would say not my obligation, but I put good vibes out into the world so somebody could, you know, feel good. And actually, I did learn something new today from a lady at the dollar store about reach toothbrushes.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we sitting
Tell
in
me
there.
more.
Well, we're in the store, and they closed down a grocery store right next to the place that
Yeah.
was in that little square. So, well, I would say I learned two things. Well, an idea. So I go into the Dollar Tree, which is one of my favorite stores. It's like going to scavenger hunts, because you never know what you're gonna find in
Okay.
there, right?
Yeah.
Like going to the Goodwill. I love going to see, what you can see, what you can find. But I asked one of the ladies that worked there, I said, what are they going to do with the grocery store? Because the setup for a grocery store, they can't make it into anything else. She said, it'd be nice if they put a laundromat in there. I'm thinking, oh man, 24-hour laundromat. So her and I are bouncing ideas off each other, right? She works at the Dollar Tree. I'm thinking that'd be a great idea. You work a 24-hour laundromat, kind of make it like what's it called? Used to be the one over there off of Morris and Malin, I think, but the scrubs and suds or something, I think it was called. But if you did something like that where you could put like a food joint in there slash laundromat, you could grab something to eat while you wait for your clothes to wash, man, and have it
Yeah.
run 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
But
It'd be
then
better
I
than
go,
the vending machines that are usually there.
yeah. And then I go down the other aisle, and this lady, she's grabbing toothbrushes. So she told me, you want to really get your teeth clean, better using this toothbrush. Reach toothbrushes. Said they're better than the Colgate ones. She bought 10 of them.
Wow.
I'm like, well, she said, oh yeah, just the only toothbrush that I use. Said, you want to buy some more? I just need 10.
No,
So
I really I liked I have a Sonicare now, but the Reach toothbrush, I can remember that when I was a kid, the ads, and I was like, yeah, that one's cool. It bend, it reaches. Um,
yeah.
Anybody from my generation can picture exactly what I'm talking about. Yeah,
So those are the two things that I learned today.
10 of them. What are you going to do with 10 of them, you think? You think she
Well, I
gives them
think
away?
she's probably buying it for maybe her kids or grandkids. I
Gotcha.
think
It made
so.
me think, so I remember when I was in Iraq, we were expeditionary. This is the initial push, from Kuwait to Baghdad at the beginning of the war.
Yeah.
And we were moving so fast that, there was no mail, there was no, they had a hard enough time even, getting us food, or,
Oh man.
resupply for ammunition and whatnot. And, and so when we got just outside of Baghdad, we slowed down, and, I think it was right before we took Baghdad. Anyway, a mail truck shows up out of the blue. We hadn't had mail since the beginning, since we kicked the whole thing off. And so we just got
Yeah.
a ton of mail all at once. And I had, we were joking that they must have been on the, on CBS and NBC saying that we didn't have enough toothbrushes. We were out of beef jerky, and, chapstick. I probably got about 200 sticks of chapstick all at once.
Oh wow.
Yeah, just, care pack, because this is before everybody forgot that we were at a war. So, like,
Yeah.
people were sending care packages, strangers
Yeah.
and whatnot. So it was just a
Yeah.
ton just showed up. So what we started doing is we made hygiene kits, like individual hygiene kits, and we started giving them to Iraqi nationals because it was too much for
Oh.
us to, even care about hanging on to. So,
Oh,
when
that's
kids
cool.
were running around, in the streets of Baghdad, we had some extra hygiene kits, and we would give them, toothbrush, toothpaste,
Oh, very
combs and
cool, man.
chapstick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we hung on to the beef jerky, we hung on to the toilet paper and the baby
Oh,
wipes, but we gave
oh
away
yeah.
lots of toothpaste and toothbrushes.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean, because that was also in an era where we didn't have like fobs or bases to go back to. I was living in my vehicle,
Oh
basically
really?
day to day to day. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
The beginning of the war, there was nothing. I mean, we stepped off from Kuwait, and we were operating 247, all the way up to Baghdad. And then we were in Baghdad for, I don't know, a month or two, before they brought us back down to another town called Diwania. And at that point, now we had kind of an actual camp,
Oh, okay.
where was the first time that we had like outhouses. And they weren't really outhouses. They were 55-gallon ammo, drums that had been cut in
Yeah.
half. And they
Yeah.
built the engineers or the Navy Seabees showed up and they built, kind of these outhouse things where, you'd have to assign whatever Lance Corporal was in trouble to go burn the barrels at the end of the day. We called it stirring the honey pots. But
Good.
yeah, you'd
I
pour a bunch
bet.
of diesel on the waste, and they'd have to basically light it on fire and stir it until it was all gone, and then put it back into the outhouse. It was pretty gross, but anyway,
Short.
yeah. So we were expeditionary until that happened. So that was like, and I was actually just talking about this a couple of days ago. I didn't have a shower for like at least a month.
Man.
So like when we were in Kuwait, we didn't have showers at our camp. When we showed up in January, so the war started in March, we showed up in January and there was nothing there yet. There were no tents. It was just a flat patch of sand that I'll back up. I'll tell the whole story. So we landed in Kuwait and it was like January 31st, and it was a race to get off of the airplane so that we could scan our IDs so that we would officially be in that country for the month of January, because then it would be tax free. If we scanned in after midnight, then January got taxed because we were still CONUS instead of OCONUS. So we all scan in. It's close to midnight, January 31st. And they put us on this like bus. And it was kind of like, if you're in the military, everybody knows what the Libo bus is, but it's kind of like a little tour bus. They put us on this bus and they just start driving us north out of Kuwait City, up to where what would be LSA 7. It was basically where 7th Marines, we were going to set up our camp before the war started. So we get out there. It's the middle of the night. By now, it's probably 2:00 in the morning. And the bus just sort of, well, first it went too far. We almost got to the Iraq border, like all the way to the border. And we had to turn around. The war hadn't started yet, so it wasn't that big a deal. But yeah, then they drive us out into the sand, and then we just get off, and the bus drives away, and we're all standing there, with our rifles and our bags at our feet, and it's completely dark out. All of Kuwait is as flat as your dinner table, so we're just staring out into nothing.
Yeah.
And I looked at Chesmer, my buddy who was standing next to me. I said, "Chesmer, where the fuck are we?" And he goes, "I don't know, man." So we lay down, we go to sleep for the night, we get up, and that's when they started, putting tents out and kind of starting to build this camp. But we didn't have electricity, we didn't have outhouses, we didn't have showers, we didn't have anything. It was baby wipes, use 5-gallon water jugs. And then the war started. We took, I take it back. I did get to take a bus down to an army camp once, to Doha, and take showers. And they had the army guys, they had Burger King and KFC chicken, the best KFC chicken I've ever had in my life. Yes. They had all kinds of stuff on this big. No, this is in Kuwait before the war started.
Oh, Kuwait. Okay.
So I'm living and sleeping in the sand up at LSA 7 at our Marine camp, and so that we could go actually take a shower.
Yeah.
And wash our camis that we had been living. You're basically got like 3 sets of camouflage utilities, but there's no laundry facility where we were at. So we got to go to Doha once to take showers and wash our clothes. But we get to Doha and we've been eating MREs and basically tray rats, like field rations, the whole time. We get to Doha, this army camp, and they have barbers and dry cleaners and laundry service and shops and Burger King and KFC. And actually, before I got to go, and I know I'm going to totally derail this episode, but before we went to Doha, what happened is we didn't even know that this place existed. But one of our guys lost his ID card, and he'd said, "Hey, I don't know where my ID card is." In my head, I'm like, "Who cares?" But they're like, "Oh, we got to get you a new ID card." So they took him to Doha. They're like, "Yeah, we know where to get you an ID card." So he was gone for the day.
Yeah.
And then this dude comes back and he's had a shower and he's in clean clothes and he has 2 buckets of KFC chicken with him. And my little group, we like swarmed around and we all sat in the sand eating this Kentucky Fried Chicken like dog. I mean, it was it was the funniest thing in the world in like looking back at it, but it was
Yeah.
the best chicken I've ever had in my entire life because we hadn't had
Wow.
anything. So then it was like, we're like, well, I'm going to lose my ID card tomorrow. Like,
Yeah.
um, so they decided
Yeah.
that they were going to take us, took our group down to Doha, and we got to, shower and whatnot, call home and all that. But anyway, after that shower, we start the war, and it's expeditionary, town to town to town to town, all the way up to Baghdad. Living in your vehicles, just
Yeah.
operating all day, every day. And
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
expeditionary is basically what they call it. And then when I got to Baghdad, there were reporters where the statue came down. I was where the statue came down. I was there,
Okay.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
there were 2 hotels at that traffic circle, Firdas Square.
Yeah.
But 2 giant hotels. All the media was there, so there were some members of the media. I think it was ABC reporters and producers let us use their shower. And I still remember the camera, CBS, Dan Rather, one of Dan Rather's cameramen gave me an ice cold Heineken. It was still frozen.
Are you
I couldn't even
kidding
drink it because it
me?
was frozen. But like I had beer, and I had shower beers. I went up and I was able to get a shower and have a beer in the shower. It was the best shower and beer probably ever.
Oh man, that's cool, man.
Wash my body. Yeah, that was a trip. So anyway, I don't know where we were. We went, oh yeah, we were talking about toothbrushes and learning something
Yeah.
new every
Yeah.
day
Reach toothbrushes.
and
Yeah.
reach.
Yeah.
So it's
Now let me
fun
ask
how
you this
one
real
little,
quick. Now, were you with Lima
yeah,
Company at any point?
no. So Lima Company is a reserve company out here in Ohio. I was an active duty Marine.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
so I was with 7th Marines and 7th Marines 3-4 India, which 3-4 is 3rd Battalion, 4th Marines was attached to
Hmm.
7th Marines Regiment. And then I also had the 7th Marines Regimental Command. I was on a C section, a command section, for a good chunk of the war, except for when I got split out to 3-4 for a while, to carry infantry and
Okay.
basically go town to town. Um,
So y'all were
but
doing actually room clearing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so, which the good thing is, the year leading up to deploying for that war, I was able to participate in something called Project Metropolis. And I've talked to you a little bit about it, but probably not on the podcast. Project Metropolis was something that the Marine Corps Warfighting Lab put together, based on some of the lessons learned after what happened to the Russian army in Chechnya and Grozny.
That's yeah.
When they were trying to fight into that capital city, the
Yeah.
massive amount of casualties they were taking.
Oh man.
So, in Victorville, California, there was an Air Force base that was, decommissioned. And what they did is they said we would do Project Metropolis. We call it ProMet. So it started off at like the platoon size evolution. So they
Mhm.
had a group of Marines, and I was one of the Marines that they sent to go do these ProMet things, where we would work with and learn from officers from all over the world on
Right. Okay.
Mount, so military operations in urban terrain. But it was all done in like the old base housing on that old Air Force base.
Yeah.
So we
Oh
would
yeah.
patrol those streets and kick doors and throw grenades. And it was the first time. I think it was the first time we had used simunitions, but also there was a lot of gear being tested. So it was the first time I had ever had an M4 instead of an M16. So having that
Right.
shorter barrel,
Enforcement smaller. Yeah. Yep.
yeah. So it was like,
Yep.
oh man, I can really corner and drive a gun here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So learned a ton, got to try new gear. And I have a million stories from that. My favorite would have been I convinced a squad of infantry that that my 50 cal, my M2 Browning 50 cal had simunitions in it. So they were scared to death of of getting hit with a 50 cal paintball.
Oh yeah.
But
That
anyway,
hurts like hell too. You've been hit with them. That hurts like
oh yeah,
hell.
I've been hit with a lot of simunitions.
Yeah.
You know,
Did you not know
constantly. I mean,
when you were doing your sims that did you wear a long sleeve shirt?
Yeah, we'd wear camis, and actually,
Yeah.
this is kind of a funny thing. Like if you're trying to teach a kid that the oven's hot, you shouldn't just put his hand on the burner, right? But this is what we did: is they had everybody that was going to be in the battle box before you were in the box. You would have to go and stand in front of a like a brick wall, and your buddy would have to shoot you with
No.
munitions from like 10 feet away. And so,
That's now that's cruel. That's cruel,
yeah.
man.
So my buddy hit me
Uh,
actually in the arm, and it went through my cami blouse,
oh, it
and my
did?
arm was yes, I was bleeding. I was like, damn, these things hurt.
Yeah, they
Uh,
hurt.
yeah. Yeah, I shot him in the nuts. And so um but yeah, we were basically getting paid to go play this high speed paintball every day.
Yeah,
So we did it a month like with the platoon size, and then we went back like a couple months later and it was company size, and then I think
yeah.
battalion size was the biggest one. But we got to also start teaching mount to other Marines, and we got
Mhm.
to play op 4 in those other, as a mount instructor. So
Right.
we were able to we would go like two of us would, we'd kill a whole squad of infantry, by
Yeah.
just
Oh,
fortifying and playing the
yeah.
game right when they were
Oh,
first
yeah.
starting. And then
Yeah.
eventually they'd get better and better, and then they'd come and they'd kill you.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then, you'd be dead on the floor and they'd shoot you one more time just because
Just
you've been
because
harassing them all week. Yeah.
you gotta
So,
make
yeah, it was a
sure
lot of
'cause
fun. It was a
oh,
lot
yeah.
of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
We
fast
did a
forwarding
lot of
to going
sim.
to war.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
we did a lot of Sims training too, man, and you talking about you don't wanna get hit with them, and you're doing
Pain's a
everything
good
you're
teacher.
supposed to do. Your butt, your quads, your hams, everything hurts after that day.
If you've done a lot of SESM training, and I assume you probably have the same thing, you get hit in the hands more than anywhere else.
Oh, man, yes, you do. My partner used to get hit in the hands all the time, but
Yeah.
I hate to give away secrets, but that's why you never if you are in a room, you know your guy is waiting for you in that room, never go in that room at head level.
Right.
You understand
Did
what
you
I'm
ever do
saying?
tar paper houses?
No,
Or like the construction paper houses where the rounds would go through the walls?
no, no. We did, hell, most of the stuff we did were in properties that were around Columbus and old police headquarters downtown. And
Okay.
we had a Marine unit come in. Oh, I can't remember. And you know they came in just oh they came in just talking cash, 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 poopy poop, right?
Yeah.
And we told them, okay, yeah, we're gonna do
Yeah.
this, yeah, yeah. And then the one guy, he was one of the sorry, I can't remember the Marine Corps. They were a special unit too, but they were impressed with how well we shot, which everybody's
Yeah.
impressed how good we our unit shot, but division wide we have if you get into like unfortunately like these guys that got into that shootout, we have very good shooters in the city of Columbus. Don't initiate a gun battle with Columbus police because you're not going to
Yeah.
win. Don't initiate a gun
That's
battle with our tactical team, which is a full-time unit, and I think they got a few more full-time units over the country now. But it was
yeah.
back in the day it was us, L.A. County, Miami, back in the early '80s, mid '80s. Then the county, when unfortunately when I'm trying to remember the big sheriff's name at the time, Carnes, when he passed away, and Zach became sheriff, because we trained with them a lot because they were or in the same city. And I
Yeah.
always mention to Zach, I said, Zach, when you become sheriff, you got to make your guys full time. And the crazy part, you have DA task force, FBI task force, us, county, and we never cross paths with each other.
Yeah.
And you think
You
the
know, I
city's
go ahead.
no, I think the city isn't that big, but we bumped heads. We going off on a different tangent, but we bumped heads, a couple times, and those could have been very bad for I would say a certain group. They would have been
Yeah.
very bad for a certain group. And we had to literally that day call in all of their bosses into our facility and sit down and have a meeting with them to let them know we're not going to play this game because your guys are not going to win.
Yeah.
And you don't want, you know, the friendly fire thing to happen.
Yeah, definitely not. You know,
Yeah.
what about a month ago, I guess now, I went and did the dignitary protection
Yeah. Yeah.
training
With RJ.
with RJ with the Ohio State Police Department.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Number one, don't break the law anywhere around OSU campus. I've seen their command center. Anything you do, they're gonna see you. Um,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was eye opening the kind of
That's,
you know, surveillance in and around OSU campus.
oh yeah. Yeah.
But
Very
their
impressive.
officers were fantastic. They were very professional all day.
Yeah.
And if you're listening, what we did is I got to basically role play the friend of a dignitary. So we rode around, you know, with these officers who were, you know, they were charged with protecting, you know, a dignitary, or, you know, we call it a principal, and
Right.
ensuring
Right.
his safety. And so, you know, he had to give a speech in a place. He had to go visit somewhere else. I was the unexpected friend.
Yeah.
So we rode around, and you know, we would throw little curveballs and say, hey, I want to stop here. Let me go to the gift shop. You know, things that were not necessarily on the agenda, to
Oh
watch
yeah.
how these
I learned that
officers
too
would
there.
respond
Yeah.
and treat different situations. And the scenario went great. These officers were fantastic. Um,
Yeah.
and I had all day with a couple of them to evangelize jujitsu and why they should be doing it. but
Oh,
uh,
man.
but but no, it was a good deal, man. We've got good officers in this city,
Yeah, we do. We do.
and I'm
We
happy
have
for it.
some real professionals. Jeremy's one of the my buddy Craig Stone used to
Oh,
be the chief over there at
you talking about
OSU.
Jeremy at OSU? Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
that's who that was the primary guy that was organizing the whole thing with us.
yeah, yeah. We
Yeah,
did all of the tactical training for them, Canada, Michigan, Indiana. We
yeah,
were doing it back in the day because we wanted all those guys to be safe, like we were talking about earlier, being able to, you know, make it back home to your family. We did
yeah,
it for free. We did it for free because we were so. I mean, we were doing raids, 4 or 5 raids a night. Come into work, grab a Snickers,
yeah.
go hit 4 or 5 houses a night, and you hope that you didn't get into a gun battle because now you stuck
Right,
there till the investigators come out and interviewed everybody. Everything got shut
right.
down. That happened. But yeah,
Yeah,
Jeremy and those guys, man, would come to our training. We had a was it Memorial Day? Is that the big holiday in end of May, right?
yeah. That's Memorial Day.
Yeah, we had a big shootout over from North Fort one year. 2 patrol guys pulled over a car, and the guy jumps out and hits them both. Luckily, they had their vest on.
Yeah,
15, I think 1505 North Fourth jumps in, dives into his window, right, to go get his fully automatic AK-47 and just start tearing up the whole neighborhood. Long story short, you know, my I was having a cousin's party, and my one cousin came out because we heard all the sirens. You know, he said, "Hey, you getting ready to get called into work?" I'm like, well, why would you say that? You know,
yeah,
about 5 minutes later, call goes out. The apartment where this guy jumped into and had this all-out gun battle with, you know, our guys and everybody in the city is the same apartment back when I first came on. I think in 88. A young kid from New York got into an argument with his neighbor, shot the dog. Same apartment, went in there and committed suicide.
mm,
Same exact apartment where this guy had an all-out gun battle with anybody that was in front of his window. Come to find out, that guy was a cartel guy selling drugs for the cartel right there in the city of Columbus. And
jeez.
I could have, yeah. And I think he panicked, thinking that they know who he is, and he responded, you know, with gunfire. Like say, people don't understand. You have to react. You are late when you react to the first shots coming at you.
Yeah,
You're late. You're done. If they didn't have vests on, That would have been a whole different story
Well,
right there.
one of the best quotes I've heard over the last year, and I can't remember who, I'm sure somebody had to be the first one, but I've heard it a few times now, that when you're confronted with that kind of a situation, you are going to fall to the level of your training. You will not rise to the level of your expectations.
Hmm.
So you have to
That's what
train.
somebody told you. Somebody
Yeah.
told you that.
So yeah. So you're not, life and death suddenly, boom, right in your face.
Yeah.
Okay. You're not rising to your level of expectation. You're falling to the level of training. Right.
Okay. Okay.
So you better train, right? If you're not
Yeah.
trained,
Yeah.
you're not going to react how you should.
Yeah.
Um,
I,
there's a
I
lot of
used.
dudes running around out there that think they can fight. And I promise the first time that they go and get into a fight, they're going to learn, right?
Yes.
They're going to
Yes.
fall to
Look.
that level of training that they don't
Yeah.
have, not to
Yeah.
that level of expectation of, oh, I see red. Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So,
Mike Tyson used that. Remember, Mike Tyson said everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
yeah.
And
So train.
when we were doing the quad training for our just, like the whole division, every police department in this city and outside, and I don't know if we talked about that the last episode or not, but we sit there in horror watching the Columbine thing,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody think, why didn't those guys do more? Those guys did nothing wrong. They did everything that at the time that we were trained to do: contain the building, call the negotiators,
Yeah.
negotiate. This Klebo
Yeah.
and Harris,
Yeah.
two of the
Klebold and
most
Harris.
evil,
Yeah.
two of the most evil human beings that ever existed on the face of this planet,
Yeah.
ever.
That's close to where I grew up.
Yeah. Yeah. And you want to hear a crazy story about those
Sure.
two? And like I say, it seemed like no matter which way I rolled in the world, left or right, up or down, a buddy of mine that I went to college with played baseball at Ohio State, Wade Manning. He was one of the
Yeah.
guys that was a baseball player that went to the NFL, played several seasons, got his NFL pension, then left and became a teacher in Denver.
Really.
The school he was teaching at, there was a kid there that was one of those the black coat mafias. That's what they call them. All the kids
Yeah.
with the black hair and
Trench
they
coat.
were
Yeah.
trench coat mafias. Yeah, well, trench coat mafias. Yeah, that's what they call them.
Yeah.
Cleveland Harris came over there to his school to look for that guy to recruit him to come over to Columbine and work that plan to kill all those students. And Wade
Holy
saw
cow.
he saw him and told him, you don't belong over here. Get off my campus and leave my students alone. Then he had to talk
Wow.
with that kid, asking them, who are these guys? Then the next day, that whole event at Columbine happened. Wade, the guy that I
Wow.
went to college with, ran those, and he just told me this story the other day. I'm like, man, you got to be kidding. But after all of that
You know,
happened, yeah, you just gonna say something?
oh, well, I was going to say that's where I grew up. I grew up in Jefferson County, Colorado, up in Conifer, but
Oh,
so
okay.
Columbine is, uh, not far. It's very close to where I grew up.
Oh, wow.
Um,
You got the connection to that event and place too.
yeah, I mean, I didn't know anybody there. But it would be like, if you grew up going to, Westerville South and this thing happened at Dublin, Scioto,
Yeah,
you
right,
know,
right, right,
so close enough.
right.
Um, and actually there's been a couple other, so the Evergreen, shooting that just happened like 2 months ago, um, Evergreen, Colorado. I went to that high school.
Oh, wow.
And then also I also went to Platte Canyon High School where, that guy took a whole bunch of kids hostage in Platte Canyon, Colorado, um, and killed some kids, and then also, killed one of the officers, which the officer that was killed, was a guy that I grew up, playing little league with and against.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
but, yeah, it's, gun violence is, it's a real thing that I wish we had a way to figure it out. But,
Yeah, I
um,
agree. Yeah, I agree.
but, so jujitsu, right?
Yep, yep.
Um, so, oh yeah. So going all the way back to, we talk about training and, the training that I was doing before the war in Iraq, I'm grateful that I had that extra opportunity of training, and it wasn't just your typical, uh, you know, rinse and repeat of the same kind of desert mechanized ops over and over again, because, that urban training, that was a valuable tool,
Mm-hmm.
when
Yes, sir.
we actually went and did the thing. And, I came home with all my fingers and all my toes, and now I've got some some stories and, uh, uh, yeah, that's,
That's that's
um,
funny you say that because, like I said, going back to the Columbine thing, the next day, literally the next day, we had two first shift teams, two second shift teams. Everybody came back there and sat down and talked about what could we do to prevent this from happening. That's where the whole quad thing came from, right?
yeah,
And y'all probably use it in the military. We developed that the next day after the Columbine thing. Then after we said the quad, but you don't wait for the SWAT guys to show up. Well, what if four guys aren't there at the same time? Oh, then you pull patrol guys, right? So we
yeah,
had to train all the patrol guys up. Then of course there'd be some people that don't want to put yourself in that scenario. Just give me your ammo. I might need it,
yeah.
right?
Look what happened in Texas.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of that shooting where the officers didn't go in.
Oh man,
Um,
that Uvalde,
yeah,
Uvalde,
that's where that
Texas,
was.
the
Yeah,
Uvalde
yeah,
cowards. That's what I call them. They all cowards.
yeah,
And I see you get me fired up. You get me fired up because
yeah.
you had
Well,
those precious little children screaming, begging for their lives. This is a guy that had zero training. You had what, over 100 cops there
yeah.
dressed in
And
tactical gear?
the crazy thing is, you have these resource officers, and almost all of them are amazing. Like, I'm gonna have a guy that he's a student resource officer, probably on the podcast here soon. But, in that Uvalde situation, you had school resource officers that, their entire reason for existing on a day to day and collecting a paycheck is to protect that school,
Protect those
and they did
children.
nothing.
They did
Yes,
nothing.
they did nothing.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
dude, you talking about something that
so
oh man, that really, and that when you mention that, that really still put a fire up under my butt. That it,
yeah,
but they all walk around with their tactical gear on. They look good. Yeah, one
yeah.
kid in there that didn't had zero training, no knowledge. You tell me you couldn't put a plan together to go in there and get him and keep her from killing the rest of those kids. He took his time. He could have done anything he wanted to with those
Well,
kids. Anything.
that's like, if you go to the range, you go up to, like, Blackwing or wherever,
Yeah.
and you go and do some some shooting on the range. A lot of times, the dude that has all the kit, he's got all the attachments all over his weapon. He can't hit center mass to save his
I,
life.
I know what you're gonna say. Yeah.
Where, yeah, where, get in there with iron sights, use some proper marksmanship, and you hit good groups. The gear doesn't make the guy, right?
No, heck no.
So no,
No.
your training does,
Yeah. That's
right?
that's
Your
that's
training.
why
I'm gonna keep coming back to this. You are going to fall to the level of your training,
um
not the level of your expectations
this
or your
this this
tactical gear.
this is what I used to tell all the guys that I came in with that would train with us. I would tell them, your training, 100%. You're 100% right. I was just this is exactly what I would tell them because this is what happens in the middle of a gun battle. And you know this. Your training kicks in. Your conscious mind shuts down. Push that button. Your subconscious mind and that training that you're talking about. Your subconscious mind, you hit that button, your subconscious mind kicks into place, and then that's when the training hits. You after
Yeah,
any major event, gun battle, you don't remember what you did. You was like on remote
yeah.
control. That's why they tell you take 3 days. Think about it before you write out your statement. I don't want to talk to you now because you're just going to babble about stuff that don't make no sense. Take three
Well,
days.
and you'll talk to three different guys. They're all going to have three different perspectives on exactly what happened.
Yeah. And you know what's funny? We used to, well, I guess I started wrapping my magazines with blue tape in case, you know, something happened right there and I drop a magazine. Oh, that's where I was. Then I moved
Yeah.
to this position. Oh, that's where I was. And I moved to that position. And they said, well, why'd you mark your tape or your mags? I said, oh, in case, you know, all hell break loose and I have to move. I know I was here.
Yeah.
Then I moved over there. So now everybody,
That's a
and
good
I don't know if
idea.
they're still doing it now, but back in the day, all of our guys would have different colored tapes on their, you know, especially partners, you know,
Yeah.
blue tape and red tape. But yeah,
So
yeah, that's about
that reminded me, I had when I went to jungle warfare school in Okinawa, and we were on patrol. We got ambushed from the right side, and you attack into it, like, when you get ambushed, you attack in. That's your immediate
yeah,
action is
yeah,
basically
yeah,
head straight into
straight into it. Yeah,
wherever
punch
you're
a
getting
hole.
attacked from, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So I attack in, I shoot, but when I had turned, my hand wrapped all the way around my mag well, and my long fingers
No, don't
hit
say
my
you
mag
eject.
release. So my
No.
magazine drops, and I'm like, shit. And so I get down and I'm trying to fish for another mag. And I'm, just behind a little tree. And I look, for this operate, I was in a squad that was full of, like, it was like our maintenance squad.
Yeah,
There's like all these mechanics that were not operators, and they were
right.
all scattering. I was like, where are you guys going? I was in the middle of, like, 10 different dudes. Anyway, I got some more rounds off, and then I got smoked. but
Oh
but yeah, I
man.
remember the mag drop. That was like, worst feeling in the world. So folks, if you're training, don't grab your mag well. You need to have something to grab onto that's not your magazine well, because there's a button there, and
Yeah.
it'll eject your mag. So that's on M16s, M4s, ARs, whatever. So anyway, that's one of the reasons why I train. I'm not in the Marine Corps anymore. I'm not a cop.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I hope that
Mm-hmm.
I'm never in another gunfight in my life. I hope that
Yeah.
I'm not in a fist fight again in my life. That is not in the context of sport. Um, but I'm going to train,
Oh
and I'm
yeah.
going to get good
Yeah.
at jujitsu.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, and the byproduct is it keeps me healthy. Um,
Yeah.
it maintains a physique, and it motivates me to eat right, and it gives me friends that are the most similar to what I had in the military.
Mm-hmm.
Um, as far as people doing, something difficult and hard together, uh, you know, there's rank structure. It's the whole thing. So, um, that's why I love this thing. Now,
Yeah.
Oscar, you got your black belt last year,
Yeah.
and it was fun to watch that happen.
Yeah.
And we could talk all day about track and sports and gunfights
Oh,
and
shoot. Yeah.
all of the other things, but jujitsu, right? So
Mhm.
jujitsu, um, when you started progressing, when did you know that you were just going to keep going? Like, when did you say, "Yeah, this is the thing I'm going to do, and I'm gonna go all the way"? You
So
know,
I
to,
don't think I ever said that, but I when I started it, I thought, well, this is something that, as far as my career was concerned, that would be very beneficial to me.
yeah,
So, you know, because we had our fights, all the crazy stuff, and primarily back then, people all they were trying to do is get away from you because they didn't want to go to jail. But
yeah,
now people actually are trying to fight you and actually trying to take your life. So every day I want to be there to learn something new. Because and you know this, if you miss a day, oh, I missed this move. Because when you go back the following day or the next day, should I say, now somebody used that move on you that you didn't get to see on a Monday. They doing it to you on the Tuesday. You're like, wait, what? Where'd you get that? Oh, we did that Monday.
yeah. I'm gonna
So,
call Marco out real quick. Marco, four stripe white belt. He was
oh
he was
yeah,
getting pretty good. He won the competition right before
yeah.
he left for a few months. Marco he's a young Marine second lieutenant. I don't know. he still has to go to the basic school, I think. But anyway, he graduated college this past fall. And so he was with us. He was training, very consistent, getting good, as far
Yeah.
as white belts do. Very strong, fit individual is going to be a Marine officer. He left and he came back this past week. I saw him for the first time on
Yeah. Yeah.
yesterday, Wednesday. And I told him to put a rear naked choke on because we were doing basically mount or back mount stable, the rollover
Okay.
to get that back mount right. I said, okay, rear naked choke. He forgot how to do it completely.
Oh, he
Completely. Like couldn't
did?
get his arm to the right side. But yeah, like he was putting his arm across the back of my hand. I'm like, what are you doing? I said, rear naked choke. And he's like, I'm like, rear naked choke. Marco will laugh when he hears this. I know I'm calling him out publicly, but he'll appreciate this. And he was just like, he was just lost in the sauce again. And I said, so Marco, this is the best lesson that you can learn right now is that you have to keep training, because if you don't keep training, this is a perishable skill. And if you stop training, you lose it. Right. So,
Yeah.
let alone, if you miss a couple of days, you feel like you're missing out on something because your buddies are learning the defense to the move that you just, wanted to try, or, but if you miss months, man, when you come back, it'll open your eyes. You're like, oh, and hopefully I'll know. I don't think I'll ever forget a rear naked choke, but,
Yeah, not now.
but
Yeah,
it,
not
but it
now.
was,
Yeah.
yeah, I know, but it was just funny. Cause like, I was like, Marco, like, this, this is like the easiest thing in the world. But it was also 6 o'clock in the morning. So his, 22-year-old brain wasn't working yet. But yeah, no, it was good to see him. I'm glad that he's back from his trips. He went and saw parts of the world, and now he's getting ready to go lead Marines. So hopefully,
Yeah.
this will
Yeah.
be a good lesson that he just has to keep training. Period.
And
And he'll be
actually,
good. He'll be a good officer
oh, that's what I'm saying. Speaking to that, his jujitsu training will make him a good officer.
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, absolutely. Absolutely. Some of my favorite officers were guys that were training. I had a Captain Wilhelmsen, Captain Dominiani, or Major Dominiani, and actually, and Major Wilhelmsen. But when they were in my unit, they were captains. I actually hooked Marco up with Major Dominiani. I gave him his phone number
Oh.
because I've kept up. Dominiani and I have been friends now for a couple decades. But
Oh, huh.
he wanted some insight from the officer side because I was enlisted, so I could tell him about enlisted stuff and the enlisted perspective. But
Yeah.
um, I thought it would be good for him to be able to talk to a Marine, especially because he wants to be an amphib. He wants to be an amphib officer. So he wants the officer version of my old MOS. And so I hooked him up with my old XO, and he, they've had good conversations about, getting into being, an officer in that kind of, in that Marine Corps environment, in that world, and understanding it. It's good that he's got some folks, and we have a 3-star general that he can go and just talk to, on the mats here. So
Yeah. Yeah. And which is crazy.
there's some great, good resources around for a young lieutenant.
Yeah. And
So
speaking of young cats that we're impressed with is Anson. Anson just
yes,
graduated from the Air Force Academy.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, Air Force boot camp. I don't think he went to the academy.
Okay. The boot camp.
But yeah,
Okay.
so he's a young airman. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he's
Young
getting his
airman.
career started. And
Yeah.
that was, that's another young man who, has asked about, perspective and going out, into the world as a young man, you know, getting stationed somewhere that he's never been, and,
Hmm.
growing into adulthood.
Yeah.
He's a good
Yeah.
kid.
Oh, he's a great
You
kid,
know,
man.
when my son, was having his kidney transplant, like right when that was happening, after training one day, he saw me in the locker room, and he
Mm.
walked over and he said, "Hey, I heard about what's going on with your son." He said, "Would it be okay if I prayed for you?" I said, "Of course," and so he, went and he gave a prayer, and for a young man who is, I guess he's 18.
Yeah.
Um,
Teams. Yeah.
for a young man to approach a gray-haired, old man on the mat and ask straight up, "Can I pray for you?" Um, that speaks a lot to his character. And
Oh yeah, man.
so Anson, if you're listening to this, I appreciate you, and you're going on the right path, and
Oh yeah.
the fact that you were willing to just step up and pray for people that you don't know well. I don't know him that well.
Yeah.
You know, I'm in a much different weight class, so we don't grapple a lot with each other. Um,
Yeah.
but he's going to do good things.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Glad I
character
had that.
guys. We got character guys in our gym,
Oh
and
man.
I think
Yeah.
most jujitsu gyms, for the most part, you're going to have a good majority of people that have good character.
Oh
There's
yeah.
always going to be outliers and scumbags out there, but for the most part, I don't think that terrible people last in this activity.
No, they don't. No, they don't.
So,
But yeah, my whole
um,
my primary mission was to is to come and learn as much as I can, and I guess I just stayed. you know,
okay,
Well, white belt, the blue belt. I stayed. Then I started going out, traveling. Hell, me and Carlos used to go down to South Carolina. We went to a school there. Texas, I went to. I could never remember his name, but he used to train here in Columbus. I went to Austin and trained at their school. Because he was an actual MMA fighter. He fought a WEC. He was one of the lighter weight guys and trained at their school. And Robin knew him. Then Florida went down there to a school in Florida that was in one of the strip malls there in Sarasota. I didn't like it too well. But then I went to California. I started training with the Roger Machado, the
hmm
famous Machado brothers, and
yeah,
and yeah, Roger, Carlos, John. John was in the movie Red Belt. Which have you
yep,
seen that?
yeah, I saw it.
Oh man, that was you talking about a good jujitsu movie? And then Jing, they had a big all the brothers were and Hegan. When I first met Hegan, that's a big man. And he had this long
Is it?
and I hate to say this, he'll get mad at me, but when I first met him, I thought he was a serial killer, man. I'm thinking, oh my God, this I didn't want to look at him. I didn't want to say a word because I
Yeah,
thought he was but when you talk one of the nicest guys in the world,
yeah,
and I still use a move that he showed me uh today. And actually I was just showing that to Jeremy the other day. And he called it a lockdown. And it that remind me, I'll show you tomorrow, but
yeah. I'll be there.
Friday. But it's I still use that sometime to the day. And I learned this from them. I think I had just got my purple belt down in
Nice.
Dallas, Texas, when all the brothers came. They had 100 over 100 plus black belts from all over the world down there for this 3-day event that they had. I got invited to.
Okay.
But when I go out to
Well,
California, I train with Roger at his studio. Roger just got back from Japan, doing some stuff in Japan, doing some teaching. I mean, Carlos hit it off with him. John, and I think I was in my 50s. And he couldn't believe that I was, he couldn't believe, like, man, I can't believe you. How old are you again, man? I can't believe you look like that at this age. How do you do that?
yeah,
And I'm looking at him like, hey, you was in that movie. Then,
right.
and I'm looking at him like, you a movie star. But then, I don't know if you knew this or not, but Chuck Norris got his black belt under Machado Brothers, right?
I did know that.
Okay. And they were in all of his movies. The Tech Rocker, Texas Ranger, he had him numerous times on his show, in his movies, or his TV show, should
I
I
didn't know
say.
they were in the shows, but yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah.
did know he was a Machado black belt. Yeah.
Oh yeah. They had a one scene where all the brothers was in this bar, and of course they come in, they clean out the whole bar with all the people in the bar. They was fighting. But I was out in Pasadena at Rogers' place over there in Colorado in Los Robles. So I go
Okay.
over to the mall, Paseo Mall, and to go watch this movie, first John Wick. Oh, okay. So I watched this movie. I'm
That's a
thinking,
good
wait, man,
movie.
they, yeah. Oh, the first one was like, man, what is this about? And I'm saying, wait a minute, these
Yeah.
guys is doing a lot of jujitsu in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So that Saturday, I go to class and I say, hey, Roger, I said, hey, you see that movie, John Wick? He started laughing. He said, yeah, I see that movie. And I said, man, they were doing. He said, yeah, he can, you know, Keanu trains, but he can down in West Hollywood, and yeah, we help do a lot of the fight scenes. I said, you did? He said, yeah,
Yeah.
we helped. I said, oh man, I said, then now the whole John Wick storyline is kind of blown up to ballerina now.
Yeah. Yeah, it has. I was actually just watching a show last night on Netflix. It's called Man on Fire. It's a good
Oh
show.
man.
Have you watched it yet?
Yeah. I just told my mom about it. Yes,
So
I
good
have.
show,
Yeah.
but there's a point. Main character's fighting a dude in it's in the hospital. Um, and he gets this guy in kind of a crappy armbar. And
Yeah.
my wife and I just said, I'm like, just break his arm already. And my wife's like, you lunatic, what's wrong with you? But
Yeah, that's
he
good,
did. He broke
man.
his arm. He won the fight. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good show, by the way. Netflix, Man on Fire.
Yeah.
Little 7-part. I don't know if it's going to have a second season, but the first season was pretty dope.
Yeah. And actually, they're bringing back Jack Ryan this month too.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
bringing that back. But yeah, that
yeah. That'll
that
be good.
whole that whole jujitsu thing, man, the excitement, being able to go to different cities, train with different people, pick up different things, and bring back. I
For
s- I
sure.
still I still enjoy the heck. And like you said, when I go to these places, I have brothers and sisters in Florida, Carolinas, Texas, still that I
Yeah,
keep in contact with. Even when I went to the Middle East, I worked for a company at a time and took my gi and did some training there. Some of my
yeah.
Israeli, brothers and sisters, right?
There you go.
And and I still keep in touch with those guys. You know,
Yeah.
so calling to check on them. And just from this sport, just from this sport.
It's
So
one of the
that's
things
what.
I love about jujitsu.
Yeah, me too.
I always have a plan to go visit another gym when I travel. I was in
Yeah.
Vegas a week
Oh
ago,
yeah, went to
and
school down there. Yeah. What school did you go to
well,
in Vegas?
I stopped in at Syndicate MMA. Um,
Is that the
s-
Dr. Lee? Is that at Gracie
oh,
School?
I don't. So I didn't know. Syndicate
Okay.
MMA is one of the best MMA gyms that as far as there's a lot of UFC athletes that are training there. I missed Marab by about 30 minutes. Uh,
Yeah. He,
Shvalishvili.
yeah. Oh yeah.
He's
He
a
never gets
lightweight
tired.
champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Marab, I just missed him, and they were kind of closing up for the day. I wasn't able to train, and I didn't have time. I was only out there for a couple of days, but I always make sure that I get a hat or a rash guard or something when I visit these places. But last time I was in Dallas, I was at Three Embers. Next time I go to
Oh,
Dallas,
okay.
I'm going to try to get down to Dallas later this year to the We Defy Foundation gala, and I'll
Oh,
make it a point to hit Machado's place up. I know it's
yeah,
there.
yeah.
I was going to try to get there last time, but um, I hit where did I went to Three Embers, and then what was the other place I went to? I went to a couple of gyms, but I didn't get
Okay.
over to Machado just because of schedule and the drive and all that. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going to St. Croix. St. Croix, there's a jiu-jitsu club down there. I'm going to go
Oh
train with
wow.
those guys, the Island Boys, not the actual
Oh
Island
wow.
Boys of internet fame, but folks on the island. It'll
Yeah.
be kind of cool
Very
to
cool,
see
man.
what that's like
Yeah.
in the Caribbean.
Oh
So
yeah. And I tell people, I probably should say this on your podcast, the stuff we can't get away with each other because we kind of know each other's games.
yes,
Yeah.
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 Yeah, on my treachery. Now, if you're a white belt and you're listening to this and you're traveling, it's not my goal to go and attempt to dominate everybody when I'm a guest in somebody else's gym. You can play position, match the energy of the guy you're rolling with. Don't go in there and try to ADCC their white belts. Be a good guest so that they'd be happy to have you back.
Yeah, exactly.
And always pack a white gi. Back in the day, so white. If you're taking a gi, take a white one.
Is
not
that what,
all gyms
you're
allow.
telling everybody?
For sure. So when I was training in South Carolina, I had a bunch of not white gis, and I traveled out to California, and I went to go train at a Gracie Baja, and I went walking in there in a black gi, and they let me train, but everybody was like, "Who the hell is this guy?" Because Gracie Baja gyms, they require a white gi.
White gi.
Gracie, Ohio for formal classes, white gi. So if you plan on, if it's an open mat, that's usually fine. But if you're going to actually attend a class, you can never go wrong by having a white gi, but you can go wrong having a blue or a black one. So
good point.
the white gi is kind of universally accepted. For
Try
no
not to
other reason than you just don't want to be the guy that everybody's eyeballing, like, who the hell is that? Why is he doing something we're not allowed to do? So you know what I mean? And don't heel hook the white belts either. Yeah.
Don't do that. Yeah.
But So Oscar, when you how long were you a brown belt? Because I think I met you at brown belt.
Oh, for real? So about 2, maybe 3 years. Because me, John Rubin, and Greg Smith got our brown belts right around the same time.
Okay.
So
I haven't rolled with Rubin yet either, and I need to.
Oh, you never rolled with Rubin?
No, I know I need to. I want to, but I'm also kind of half scared of. Rubin is, what is he? 6'6", 6'6", fit
265,
200. Yeah, 265, a fit 260.
Yes.
And he's a black belt. So, I know I'm going to volunteer to roll with him, and I know I'm volunteering to go meet my demise, but I haven't rolled with him yet. But it's good to see he's on the mats. But anyway, so you're a brown belt. You were a brown belt for 2 to 3 years. How long? Actually, here's a better question. When did you retire from police work?
August of 2014.
Okay, so it's been a decade.
Yeah, which is
12 years, but my point is more than a decade, and you're still training jiu-jitsu. Okay, so you talked about your motivation was because it was good for police work.
Yes.
What has kept you on the mats now that you're, just an average civilian?
You and everybody that shows up at 7 in the morning. Actually, Reuben and John pulled me off the couch. I mean, how many movies can I watch until my body started hurting because I'm not doing anything? And I'm not an AM person. I hated waking up to an alarm clock. I really, truly did. But when they start putting those classes together for the law enforcement guys at the old academy, that's when I got up and started training again, and been consistent every time. But you, Nate, Anson, Bart, all those guys that we learn something, we show it, and actually watch them, catch somebody or actually perform the move, or attempt to catch you in the move that you just showed them. Because you hear me, I'll show you this move, but you can't do it on me.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not saying that you won't catch me, because we all get caught. But that everybody that shows up to that academy, I enjoy being around. I enjoy sharing. And like what I do with y'all, if I'm teaching the class, show me what you got out of this. Because you show something different than, we show a move, and you and Luke show something different. How y'all go then? Y'all did your the side body, you did your canto choke from the side body, plant from the half guard. And that choke comes on so quick. So you show one move, and then see what how everybody else's mind think. and what variations can they get off of that, and then watch you demonstrate it. That's what keeps me coming, man. Just and plus, I guess I'm a curious guy
Hmm.
because I always want to. Well, part of my thing is learning something new, and this is that learning something new every day, and then watching you guys perform those moves on unsuspecting people. Oh man, that's big to me. That's big.
If your goal is to learn something new every day, the jujitsu mats are a perfect place to. I mean, there's always something new.
Yes.
There's always, always, always some sort of new technique, or even there's arm bars or arm bars, but there's
Hmm.
always going to be a different take, a different detail that you never thought about.
Yeah.
Um,
You
so
you know you know me with the arm bar. I never fall back.
yeah, yeah, and well, you've got that black belt level of that step over uh arm bar. Yeah, it comes on quick, it's tight.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
leverage is that almost the belly down. But yeah,
Well,
that's a scary one.
that's valuable because so for a long time, being an ultra heavy, which I'm not in that weight class anymore, but
Mhm.
as an ultra heavy rolling with other ultra heavies, I really didn't I really never attempted, you know, arm bars in general
Oh, oh,
because yeah, I stayed away from because if I fail on the armbar attempt,
oh yeah,
now I'm on bottom of another
yeah,
ultra heavy.
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
want to be there.
yep,
So
yeah,
I had a I I've been exploring a lot in this this last especially the last year, but um for a long time my jujitsu was very very safe. Get on top, stay on top. Do not do anything that could risk you being on top. Um, you know what I mean? Not
yeah,
at all. Like stayed away from it because I just didn't want to get smashed by the other heavy guys. Right.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, my top game developed really well. I have a great top game, but it wasn't until, the last couple of years that I really started saying, okay, I've got to expand and I got to start doing these things that, take risks to get out of that comfort zone.
Right, right,
Try the arm bar on the ultra heavy and
right,
you need to drill it enough. You need to attempt it enough in live rounds to get good at it enough that, number one, you can hit it against that heavy dude that knows, it's coming, but also how to develop your guard and your defenses so that even if you do end up on the bottom, it's not a big deal.
right, right,
So
right. Always start out in the worst position possible, and if you can
yeah,
find what the guys that are coming in the mornings with us, if you could work your way out of that, then in my opinion, I think nobody outside of our place, nobody should be able to handle you because we
no,
know each other's game so well. And if I could get out, just like when Nick was, doing his stuff, I'm like, oh, let me work out of this because, man, if I could do that, then I feel real good about going someplace else and, have somebody
yeah,
else smash me or attempt to
yeah.
smash me.
We don't have an easy role typically in that room. Not
No,
many anyway.
no.
Most of our guys are solid and fit and ready to roll.
And
So
isn't that interesting too? What you just said, fit. You think about we was talking about earlier. You got law enforcement guys that couldn't fight you for 1 minute without being wore out.
hmm
We had a lieutenant, well, in our unit that actually was commander, and that's a whole another story, unique story that I just realized the I guess the kind of history of the three of us. But I'll talk about that later. But he used to always say that guy's running from you. You got to chase him. When you catch him, he's not surrendering. He's going to fight. Now you can run 100, 200, 800 meters. Now you caught him. Now you have to arrest him, and he still got fight in him.
yeah.
If you can't win that fight, then why even knowing
Why are
those
you
things?
still doing the job?
Yeah, why are you still doing the job? Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
I mean, and think about it this way. I mean, white belts come in, new guys come in, and usually for the first while, they've got a lot of, high effort spaz in them. Um, you know, where they gas out, they get tired. Some of them are a handful until they're tired.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and I don't know how many times I've had this conversation, but you got to roll in a way that you can go indefinitely.
Oh,
You have to
man.
learn how to breathe.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I say if you end up in a fight with a gorilla, okay, especially when we get these big athletic guys, you know, you might be big and athletic, and you might be able to kind of overwhelm, somebody that doesn't have those attributes
Mm-hmm.
in some
Mm-hmm.
cases. But there's always somebody bigger, faster, stronger out
Oh,
there.
yeah.
And so what
Oh, yeah.
happens when you run into the guy that can meet or exceed your attributes?
Yeah.
You have to be willing to fight. So if you're fighting a gorilla, you need to train in a way that you don't get tired, because you don't get to stop fighting when you get tired. You get to stop fighting when the gorilla gets tired, right?
That's right. That's
So
right.
learn to survive and manage
Yeah.
the storm.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's usually all you got to do to the new guy is you manage their storm and their effort, and put them in an uncomfortable spot and let them just
Yeah.
sort of gas themselves out trying to push
That's
on you.
right. That's right.
So
That's right. Little tricks, man. Little tricks. You
yeah,
have them use all their energy while you conserve yours.
yeah, yeah. Just
Yeah.
wait until they screw up, and then you got them.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, I stayed retired at 14 and had one of the best retirement parties ever, man. Live band, food, about 400 people showed up out the 94th Air Squadron. And I'm glad that I had a chance to do that there. Um, it- just like I say, it's just the opportunity to be around all of y'all, learn something new every day, share, because I'm not holding anything to myself. We're sharing information with each other. We're passing knowledge to each other to make each other better. Iron sharpens iron.
mhm.
And plus, just the community of people are so, like we mentioned earlier, just quality people all the way around the board, all the way around the board. I just enjoy being around. Like I said this before, I've been on many teams, NFL teams, world teams, college teams, uh, international teams, SWAT teams. But the team that I enjoy showing up for every day and being around and literally on a daily basis and just being a part, just a little piece of somebody's life every day is. And I don't even know if we could call it a team, because the team isn't out there, opening up a line for you, for football, or the team isn't, well, I guess it isn't on your tactical team. It's the number 4 guys, the first guy up the steps all the time. But
Yeah.
just to see these guys develop and go, and how our relationships, have built over the time, and they keep sustaining themselves, because now we're introducing babies. So now they have more
Mhm.
uncles and aunts. People are, getting married. Now you creating opportunities to uh, expand, your knowledge. Maybe now your wife might want to be interested, or your husband, he wants to be interested. Jordan and Olivia, prime example, perfect couple. That are
Yeah.
both doing jujitsu, and I think they got their blue belts at the same time. So,
They
man,
might have.
yeah, they did. They got their blue belts at the same time. So,
Good.
and teaching, of course, I show her some and say, hey, when you get home, try it out on Jordan.
Yeah.
you know, but it's just and just the excitement in everybody's eyes. Hey, you showed me this, and I almost got it on such and such. Or I got it on such and such. Yeah,
What did
that
what
means a
did
lot.
getting what did having a black belt tied around your waist mean to you, compared to some of your other accomplishments in your life?
Oh man, that it was, to me, it was an appreciation of just the time that I've been there, and personally for me to get it from Robin, because when I started there, Robin was a 4 stripe blue belt. He had just got his purple belt, right?
Yeah.
And and then hell, he and I was saying this. Hell, I've been knowing him, 25 years plus. before he was married, before he had kids. You
Yeah.
know, we go out to these tournaments and back in those days, man, I'm surprised we're still able to walk. Because you know, you get
Yeah.
caught in the triangle, you want to get out the triangle, you just pick them up and slam them. You know, rampage. You
Yeah.
know, but to get that black belt from him was a tremendous honor for me to watch him come up, watch him be the instructor that he is, the family man that he is, the husband that he is, the businessman that he is, the friend that he is. That meant the world to me because you know I came because it was fun, but then I and that day he gave me my fourth strike. You know, on that Tuesday, I was trying to run. Uh-uh. That's that like that. It's that oh shit strike, right?
Yeah. The oh shit stripe. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like oh man, you know, and he always say, don't thank me, you know, because Health used to tell him that don't thank me, you earned it. So
Yeah.
I played long enough to earn where I'm at, and I what was passed to me, I want to pass on to you know the Marcos and the Ansons and the Bryans and the Knicks, you know that are
Yeah.
coming up, and those guys are starting to become killers too.
They are.
So
They are.
yeah,
They all are. They all are. They're.
yeah,
I mean.
yeah,
I mean, yeah. They all are. And you're right. You know, one of the things that I like that Robin. You know, I've heard him say it a couple of times, and I remember specifically when he was putting your instructor bars on your black belt. You know that. You know, and I think he was paraphrasing Nelson, but uh, you know, he said, "This is because you earned it. It's not because I like you. It's not because we're friends. It's because you put the work in
yeah,
and you earned it."
yeah.
And that's where a lot of the you know the joy of you know obviously people talk about belts don't matter or whatever, but you know they
Mhm.
still mean something whether you try to say that or not. And so, but you know they are symbolic of a body of work that you've put in,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
um,
continuous body of work. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Well, Oscar, I appreciate having you on, man. I could, you know, again, we could talk all day about all kinds of fun
yeah,
stuff,
yeah. You ain't lying. Yeah.
but you are officially my first two-part podcast because we can talk.
Woo! Yeah.
And so I'm number one, I'm grateful for your time. Um uh in being willing to share your story and your background and you know your accomplishments and the things that you've done, you know, over the years. Number one, they're incredible. Like I said, when I first met you, you know, you didn't tell me any of that stuff. You were just cleaning the bathroom, I think. And you know what I mean? And
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
so, you know, the the kindness that you continue to display day in, day out around other people. And I'm sure that it's not just in jiu-jitsu. I'm positive that that goes everywhere else with you. So keep putting the good out into the world. Keep being a good example for others to aspire to,
Hmm.
and keep giving it back. And if we could have more Oscars in this world, then the world would be a better place. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you, and I would spend that too if we had more mats in the world. That you know, just what you're doing with your military guys, man, that's incredible. That actually
In
that inspires me to see what you're doing to help the military community out. Not a lot of people understand. You know the stuff
no,
that military guys and law enforcement guys go. Real quick, I'll share this. I told John this, and you know I try not to. You know, you put a lot of things way back, because you know certain things or sounds or smells bring things to the front. But one night I don't sleep well. Rob and Mandy, they know that. John knows that. Ruben knows that. Mike Shipka, he knows that. But one night I was laying in the bed. I don't even know if mentioned this to you ever, but I'm laying in the bed, and all of a sudden that play button pushed, right? And
yeah,
from my career, from the time I started my career in color and exquisite detail, I saw every time I could have lost my life on that job over the 33 years. I mean, every detail. It's like, why would whoever show me that? Why would I need to see that now? I'm done. I'm away. That's not my world anymore.
Yeah.
But man, I'm like, I kind of woke up that day. I was a little nervous. Like, oh,
Yeah.
just some kind of like message I'm receiving. But every incident where I could have been killed was detailed, showed to me on like I'm sitting in the chair watching it on a movie screen.
Yeah.
Now, how weird is that?
Oh, well, number one, it's a weird thing to experience. Um, but it's something that military, law enforcement, people who have been in, victims of sexual assault.
Yeah,
Sometimes it is just a smell. It might be a sight. It might be something that got said on a TV show. We did it, not in that kind of context, but there were a couple of times, you said reach toothbrush, and I went right back to that
yeah,
mail call in Iraq, which that's not a bad memory in this case, but it's literally a word or a sight or a smell or something can just turn it on.
yeah,
And I'll tell you, I have days, where something just puts me back into a place that's not a great place. Um,
yeah,
you know, uh, a couple months ago, I had one of those where I think it was a song that came on, and it
mm,
just kind of put me back there, and I stayed up. I stayed up way late in the night, way past my bedtime, with headphones on, listening to that music, and going down a rabbit hole that I didn't need to be going down. Um,
wow,
and it worried my wife when she woke up and realized, that, you know, I'd kind of been up all night or whatever. Um, so you're not by yourself in having that kind of thing happen. Um,
yeah,
you know, you experience it, and and my hope is that when you experience those things, you can you have people that you can talk to. You have
mhm.
jujitsu mats that you can go train on.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
you learn how to cope and you learn how
yeah,
to kind of take yourself back out of those spots. I can tell you
yeah,
that jujitsu has been that thing for me.
yeah, therapeutic.
When I have, yeah, it is my
Yeah,
therapy.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and I've said it before. My mother was a counselor.
Oh, good.
So I'm never going to come on here and say that therapy doesn't have value, or anything along those lines. But for me personally, jujitsu has been better than any therapy that I've gone through, as far as dealing with post traumatic stress and those kinds of things.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I think we all suffer from some form of
yeah, we
yeah,
do, and some have a whole lot more trauma than others.
yeah,
Oscar, you've
yeah,
probably heard somebody at some point say to you, they've said, "Oh, well, what I've been through is nothing like what you went through," right? Like,
uh-huh.
people that have known me and known some of the things that I've been through, when they start talking about things that they've been through, they'll try to minimize their own stuff because they think that my stuff is bigger,
Yeah,
right? And and I try to be quick to correct that, in that my stuff is my stuff, your stuff is your stuff, and your stuff is no less important or no less traumatic to you because it's your stuff,
uh-huh.
right? So, um, I never try to say that anything that I've done is any worse or more difficult or more traumatic than what some other folks might have been through.
Yeah,
It's just different.
or yeah.
And sorry to,
Then that
I kind of hijacked what you were about to get into, but
no, no, that
that's
that
why
that was
that's why I do stuff with the We Defy Foundation.
yeah, that's
When I got
tremendous, man.
when I got out of the Marine Corps, there was no We Defy Foundation yet, right? That didn't exist.
Hmm.
I had to I had to figure a lot of stuff out the hard way. I had to find out some stuff the hardest of ways, where, the proverbial wheels at one point, pretty much just came off my life. Um, and I had a choice. I could either just die, uh, or I could start picking myself back up.
Yeah,
Um, jiu-jitsu has been a massive part of that climb back up from at one point basically having nowhere to go, living in my truck, homeless, um,
Mm.
to now I have a pretty damn good life, right? You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, uh, so when I found out about the Defy Foundation and what it was doing for other combat veterans, I don't know that I even had a choice. This is a thing I need to be involved in, and this is the thing that I want to put energy and time into, because if this gets another guy like me, or girl, um,
Yeah. Yeah.
and they find the same things in jiu-jitsu that I found, we're literally saving lives. Because
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
tell you right now, it's a coin flip whether I would still be here or not, going back, 12, 15 years. Um,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
so, so that's why I do it. And May 23rd, Memorial Day, we
Yeah.
have a We Defy Foundation ruck and
Yeah.
roll. So at Gracie, Ohio, if you're listening to this and you're in Ohio, I don't care if you train in our gym or not, you're more than welcome to come and join us. We're doing a 3-mile ruck, stepping off from Gracie, Ohio, down to the Hoover Reservoir and back. It's about 3 miles, maybe a little bit more, depending on where we decide to turn around. But and then after that, it's an open mat. We'll have an open mat for about an hour, where we can get some rolls and rounds in. And then we have another member of our gym, Chris, who owns the Hoover Bar and Kitchen. It's a restaurant, actually in the same little shopping area, strip mall area that Gracie, Ohio is in. So once that open mat is done, then we're going to go over there and break bread and maybe have a soda pop or two. And,
Yeah.
uh, and that'll be a good
Yeah.
day.
Soda pop.
The suggested donation is $50. If you can donate more, that's amazing. If you can only donate your time and participation, that's also amazing. I want you to participate. All funds will go to the We Defy Foundation, and the mission of getting combat veterans onto the mats. We have 2 We Defy athletes in our gym right now. So your donation literally goes to people that you train with. And I look forward to seeing you on May 23rd, starting at noon.
Yeah. Very cool, man.
So
Very
how's
cool.
that for a promo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thrilled with what We Defy Foundation does. Um,
Good.
so that's why I do that.
Good. Yeah. Keep
So
doing it. Keep doing it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Very good, man.
So Oscar, I'll be seeing you in the morning, pal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, bright and early. We'll get some
All
training
right.
in.
All right. Yeah.
So thank you again for your time. Um, anything else before we sign off?
Oh, yeah. I have a little company that I'm trying to make into a big
Okay.
company, Singers Tactical Solutions,
Yeah.
helping people put their little pieces together for their home protection until the police
Okay.
arrive. Yeah. So, and actually, Zach's been helping me, get the site up. I've been kind of putting it off for a while, but I think the timing is right because everything that's going on in the world. Have
Yeah.
a plan from a professional. That's what I would say. So
Okay.
I'm gonna bring that online here pretty soon. Uh, just give some people some ideas of how to make yourself safe, and you hope that you don't have somebody break into your house. But if they do, have a plan. If there's a fire, you have a plan. If somebody breaks into your house, the alarm only works. It only works after the people break in. Now what?
Yeah.
And the police not going to be parked, down the street waiting for that to happen. You have to defend yourself. And I can show you how to do
Yeah.
that through our little program that we have. So yeah,
I love it. I think
yeah,
that's critical. Yeah.
yeah. I'll get you the
Um,
site and the
for
information
sure.
when you put this up, and if they interested, they could go to it.
Yeah. If there's anything
Yeah.
you need, that I can help with, I'm more than happy to do that. So
Okay. And I'll see you in the morning.
yes, sir, you will. Yeah. So thank you again, everybody. This has been the Still Rolling Jiu-Jitsu podcast. If you're listening to this is your call to go and train. And we'll see you next week with another episode. Thanks again.